Batman, the legendary superhero, has appeared in many big screen productions. Since Adam West's turn as the Caped Crusader in Batman the movie way back in 1966, there have been quite a few famous actors who played Batman in live-action movies. In the late 1980s and 90s, Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer both famously played the part, and in '97, George Clooney did the same.
I want a car. Chicks dig the car.
This is why Superman works alone.
Christian Bale followed in 2005 and became the first actor to play the hero in a trilogy of films. Next up, Ben Affleck played the part in one of the more recent big screen incarnations of the character, that of the DC Extended Universe, or DCEU, series of films. But Batman v Superman, Justice League, and a few scattered cameos were not all we were supposed to originally see of the actor playing the Dark Knight. He was also set to direct and star in his very own Batman solo film, and though it never happened, it sounds like it would have been pretty badass. Let's have a look at the actor-director's unfinished solo film, The Batman, the exciting possibilities it held, and the reasons it never materialized. Please like and subscribe to the channel as we dive into the untold tale of Ben Affleck's take on Batman.
The rage that turns good men cruel.
Cinema Digital.
Ben Affleck began his career as a child actor in the early 80s by playing in after-school specials and TV shows such as The Voyage of the Mimi. He started gaining steam in his 20s with films like Dazed and Confused, as well as his collaborations with director Kevin Smith in Mallrats and Chasing Amy. Affleck really got noticed though in 1997 when he and his childhood friend Matt Damon co-wrote and starred in the highly acclaimed film Good Will Hunting. They won an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay for their work on the movie, and famously took their mothers with them to the Oscars ceremony.
It's really two young guys who were fortunate enough to be involved with a lot of great people. There's no way we're doing this in less than 20 seconds.
Affleck continued to build his acting career with parts in films like Armageddon and Pearl Harbor around the turn of the century. After a couple of career missteps, Chile.
Yes!
A big part of his comeback was directing, and he did it really well with films like Gone Baby Gone and The Town. Until he struck Oscar gold yet again with his most acclaimed work as a director, Argo, which took home the Academy Award for Best Picture in 2013. Not long after the Argo win, he was tapped to play Batman in the DCEU, beginning with Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Tell me, do you bleed? You will.
Needless to say, the internet went crazy with the news of his casting, calling it a huge mistake. A mistake to cast a two-time Academy Award-winning filmmaker as Batman? Okay. Apparently, Warner Brothers actually sat down with Affleck and gave him fair warning about the pushback that can come from being cast as a beloved superhero. Just for the record, people also said the same thing about the casting of Michael Keaton in the role and about Heath Ledger's casting as Joker.
I thought my jokes were bad.
Taking place in the timeline shortly after Justice League, the solo Batman movie might have been a thrilling addition to the series. Robert Richardson, the cinematographer who had already worked with Affleck on the gangster thriller Live by Night, stated on the Happy Sad Confused podcast that Ben Affleck had finished writing the script for the film. Richardson talked about what was in Affleck's script and said that the Batman story would have taken the series to Arkham Asylum to look at Bruce Wayne's personal problems and inner turmoil. We love this choice of location, as it would have presented tons of opportunities for run-ins with Batman's infamous Rogues Gallery. Affleck's movie would explore the more shadowy aspects of Batman according to the cinematographer. Richardson talked about Affleck's script and said that the movie would have been even darker than what we've already seen, and explored both the sane and insane aspects of Batman, looking deep into the character's mind at the balance between Batman's reason and madness. Newer information from DCEU storyboard artist Jay Oliva helps us understand what Affleck had in mind. I can't really say too much other than it was fucking awesome, Oliva said. Ben's story was going to cover something that had never really been covered in comics, but was building off of storylines in the Batman mythos over the last 80 years and approaching it from a new kind of perspective. Oliva continued, Ben had to step away for personal reasons and I totally understood, but the time that I spent with Ben working on the project was fantastic. Apparently there wasn't just one reason why the project was canceled, there were several. When Zack Snyder had to leave Justice League because of a family tragedy, the changes that were made to that movie by Warner Brothers and replacement director Joss Whedon ruined the Batman plot that Affleck had created. This change in direction was a big reason why the movie didn't go as planned. In the original plan, there was a scene where Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor met with Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke with the goal of hiring Deathstroke to kill Batman. This was an important part of setting up Affleck's movie. The scene was changed, however, to show them forming the Injustice League instead. Because of these and other changes in the original cut, some of which were later changed back in the Snyder cut, Affleck was unhappy with how Warner Brothers handled DCEU. Affleck's personal problems, like his battle with alcoholism and an impending divorce, may have also played a part in his decision to quit the role, as suggested by Oliva. Not to mention that Affleck was clearly annoyed by numerous interviewers constantly pestering him about the film while he was on tour promoting his 2016 movie Live by Night. By late 2016, Affleck's comments about the movie had become less sure of themselves. He made it clear that he would only go ahead with a story that he was happy with and would admit later that he, quote, couldn't crack it. Early in 2017, he quit as director and Matt Reeves was hired. Around this time, rumors started going around that Affleck wasn't happy with how things were going behind the scenes. Years later, in 2022, he told the LA Times that the Justice League shoot was, quote, the worst experience. It was awful. It was everything that I didn't like about this. At the time, Warner Brothers denied there was any trouble, but Justice League was changed a lot, which later led to calls for the Snyder Cut. The story, which was simply called The Batman, was written by Affleck, Jeff Johns, and Chris Terrio. It was planned that the movie would take place between Justice League and its follow-up, with a dramatic fight between Batman and the DC Universe's most dangerous assassin, Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke. Partly inspired by David Fincher's The Game, Deathstroke slowly destroys Bruce Wayne's life and goes after his loved ones. Deathstroke actor Joe Manganiello said that Slade's anger towards Batman came from the death of his son, which he points the finger at Batman for. According to Manganiello, Deathstroke would go after the people close to Bruce Wayne, like Alfred Pennyworth and Commissioner James Gordon. It was a really dark story in which Deathstroke was like a shark or a horror movie villain that was dismantling Bruce's life from the inside out. It was this systematic thing. He killed everyone close to Bruce and destroyed his life to try and make him suffer because he felt that Bruce was responsible for something that happened to him, Manganiello told Yahoo Entertainment. It was also planned that Batgirl would be a supporting figure in the film. With Batgirl's help, Batman would clash with Deathstroke in a fight that would be even more violent than his fight with Superman. This idea perfectly sets up Deathstroke as the antithesis of Batman, making him the perfect villain for the film, as the two characters likely would have mirrored one another in opposing yet subtle ways. Deathstroke lost his son and took the path of darkness, where Batman lost Robin, a son-like figure, but took the virtuous path instead. Remember, in prior films, the DCEU version of Batman was broken down by years of crime fighting, loss, and resentment. He no longer followed his one rule of no killing. Yet during the ending of the Snyder Cut version of Justice League, the nightmare sequence showed Batman working alongside the mercenary, which implies that their battle in the unmade Batfleck movie, though brutal, would not have been a battle to the death. This suggests that the events of the movie may have also completed a multiple film story arc for the character, transforming him back into the good and just hero of his earlier years. From all the information revealed so far, it sounds as if Affleck's Batman film would have been amazing, with plenty to offer for all types of Bat fans. What little is known of the unmade film shows that it was clearly inspired by many amazing Batman stories, including the Arkham Asylum video game series and its prequel Arkham Origins, the graphic novel Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on Serious Earth, and DC Comics' New 52 version of Deathstroke, as well as the David Fincher thriller The Game, starring Michael Douglas. Matt Reeves' version of Batman didn't officially let Affleck leave the role until early 2019, even though it was clear much sooner that the actor wouldn't be starring in it. The film, of course, would then go on to be reimagined as Reeves' 2022 The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson and featuring a storyline that was inspired by famous Batman comic The Long Halloween, as well as, ironically, another David Fincher film, Seven.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
There is a silver lining to the story, though, as Affleck went back to the part, shooting new scenes for the Snyder Cut, including the previously mentioned nightmare sequence, as well as scenes in both The Flash and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. though it has been reported that the Batfleck scenes in the Aquaman sequel have since been cut. Well, maybe we'll get to see them on the Blu-ray version someday. Without a doubt, we believe that Affleck's take would have been well received by fans, as it would have showed a unique perspective on the character. What do you think of the Ben Affleck Batman film that never was? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and please support the channel by liking and subscribing so that we can bring you more alternate timelines. I'm Batman.
Cinema Digital.